building a better Bay Area. Moving forward, finding solutions. This is ABC 7 News.
Hi there, I'm Kristen Z. You're watching Getting Answers live on ABC 7, Hulu Live, and wherever you stream. We're asking experts your questions every day at 3 to get answers for you in real time. Today we have Jeopardy champion, Oakland's very own Amy Schneider joining us, fresh from her historic run that ended last night here on ABC 7. Her favorite moments, what's next, and a surprise coming your way. Also, the pandemic has been hard on so many people, but especially on families living in cramped single-room occupancy hotels in San Francisco's Chinatown. A reporter from our media partner, the San Francisco Standard, will share their plight and what the city is doing about it. But first, the Omicron descendant, the BA.2 variant, is here in the Bay Area and renewing worries that the surge is not the last of the pandemic. Meantime, major news in San Francisco. Mask rules are changing again starting February 1st, next Tuesday. So here are the key points. No mask will be required if everyone is vaccinated and boosted when eligible. 2, this applies to indoor public spaces like restaurants, gyms, offices, etc. 3, if you're not vaccinated, then you can, as an alternative, have a negative test and an exemption to still be able to enter those areas in that space. Joining us now to talk about the latest COVID-19 news is ABC 7 special correspondent, Dr. Alok Patel. Dr. Patel, great to see you as always.
Kristen, good to see you. And actually, I was looking down and reading and trying to figure out what exactly they mean by exception, but great to be here.
So, did you figure it out?
You know, I didn't, because here's the thing. What we're reading about with the mask changes, it kind of is in line with what we saw in the Bay Area right before the Omicron surge. And, you know, kind of in between what we're doing locally versus what the CDC recommends, where you still mask up in large spaces of 50 people or more. But when you say a negative test and exemptions, I want to know what exactly do they mean by an exemption? Do they mean an exemption where you are exempt from getting the vaccine? And then in that case, is there going to be somebody at these venues policing and making sure that you not only have a negative test, looking at the date of the test, and then looking at your exemption as well? So these are some unanswered questions I think we're all curious to see.
I do think they mean religious or medical exemption. So if you've obtained one and you have a negative test and you can show both, then presumably that you can enter that space. You know, they got to work out the details a little bit more, but I agree. I mean, in general, the principle is going back to where we were before Omicron in terms of the mask restrictions. So do you think this is a good balance, if you will, between public health and really what the public will support and follow at this point?
Kristen, I think that's exactly the thread that we should be watching. What you just said right there is there's a balance between what the data shows about how effective all 3 shots or 2 shots, if you got J&J, are, and then also what the public is going to do and what the data allows us to do and what the quote unquote off ramp really is here. The one little asterisk I would like to see addressed is that we're not only following case rates, but we're also following our hospital capacity, which we know is another component we have to look at when we talk about changing from a pandemic to endemic and getting back to our normal lives.
Okay, good point. Also part of the San Francisco announcement today, for indoor mega events defined as over 500 people, they're going to allow unvaccinated people to attend as long as they have a negative test and they wear a mask. San Francisco says that's just more in line with California's Department of Public Health guidance. How do you feel about that? Because I'm just thinking about the Warriors game, right? For example, you got to right now be vaccinated.
I don't know where this change came from. So that specific change, because I also have been down to a Warriors game and every single person there needed to be vaccinated. And I think there's a shade of gray when we say you can be unvaccinated and show proof. I have not seen any reason why that needs to be. I don't see that we have this looming population here who is vaccine hesitant. We actually have a very highly vaccinated population here in the Bay Area. So I'm curious about where that stemmed from. It does pose a little bit of a concern for me, but if they're following the guidelines and they actually do show proof of an exemption and a negative test within a certain time period, you can still feel safe relatively if you have all 3 shots.
Okay. Look, I think I've never seen doctors this split over masks right now. It seems like half are saying it's time to make them optional, maybe a week or 2 from now, right, as the Omicron wave really passes, and others who say it's still too soon. Where do you stand?
I don't think it's I don't think it's the time to completely lift them and make them optional. I think we have to talk about what the space really looks like. And all I'm simply doing as a correspondent journalist is looking at data and looking at populations here. And it's hard to make a blanket recommendation when you don't know the vaccine status or the risk status of everyone around you. So I say when in doubt, you have to show proof of a vaccination or a negative test. But people out there should just be carrying their own high quality, good masks that are well fitting and have high filtration. Just when in doubt, you're going to rock one of those masks and be safe.
All right, Dr. Patel, I know you prepared a round of 2 truths and a lie for us. And before our Facebook fans start to clamor for it and call for my head because we haven't gotten to it, let's go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, let's rock and roll, Kristen. No segment is complete without one of these. So everyone knows how this goes.
That's right.
Tell us which one is not true of these 3. Is it A, BA2 is nicknamed stealth Omicron because of the high amount of false negatives on PCR tests? Or is it B, Pfizer and Moderna have started trials on an Omicron-specific booster? The trials are going to include people who are already boosted. Or is it C, a study suggests getting vaccinated before catching COVID reduces the chances of getting long COVID?
All right,
which one of these is not true?
Let's leave this up here, folks. I know B is true. I read that. C, I think, is true as well. So I'm going to go with A, being the lie, because I think it's not stealth for that reason. I think it's not high amount of false negatives on PCR. It's really that it's something about pinpointing its origin or exact variant. Anyway, I don't have the exact language, but I'm going to go with A. And Daniel, Drea, and Gregory all agree with me, and Erica does too, and Randy. So that's final answer.
Kristen, I'm just going to guess that you did really well on the SATs because you just like smoked through my tricks. But A is in fact the lie. It is not called stealth Omicron because there's false negatives. In fact, people should rest assured that your antigen tests and PCR tests, from what we know, will still pick up this subvariant. The reason it's called stealth is because the Omicron variant BA1, there's a little bit of a mutation in the spike protein that is not apparent on a PCR test. So you can kind of look at that and say, this is probably Omicron. That's not happening with BA2. So in order to track this variant, scientists actually need to go in there and do genomic surveillance. So it's going to be a little bit harder right now to track, but that's okay because there is no sign right now saying that the subvariant is more virulent or more dangerous or has the ability to evade our antibodies, even though it may be more transmissible. B is true. These trials are going to test all populations, including those with all their shots, including a booster. And C is also true as well. And you knew that off the bat, Kristen.
Look, you know, can you talk a little bit more? Okay, I'll take your accolades. Thank you very much. Actually, the credit goes to our Facebook viewers who helped me out there. So thank you very much for that round, Dr. Patel. Go into details a little bit more about the likelihood that we'll need variant-specific boosters and perhaps which segment of our population may actually need them.
I don't see any data right now suggesting that we're going to need variant-specific boosters. And I think that's an important thing to say is because when some people see these headlines that come out from companies about a trial, they maybe misread this and they say, hey, does this mean that the current vaccine regimen doesn't work? Does this mean that BA2 is evading our shots? That's not true at all. In fact, the more studies that are coming out, including one just put out by the CDC with immunocompromised people, shows that these boosters are incredibly effective, up to 90% effective in keeping people out of the hospital. These trials are more done as an abundance of caution, just to say, hey, in the event that we do not go the direction that all the data points in the summer, we'll be ready. You know, they even made a Delta-specific vaccine. Pfizer was working on one, and we never needed it. So fingers crossed that this will never see the light of the day. But in the event, in the small chance we need it, we'll have the data to make a decision.
Okay. Are we seeing a rapid decline of cases and positivity right now in California? I know we already are on the East Coast where this kind of all started.
We're seeing a decline. I feel hesitant to use the word rapid. It's hard to use that when we still see so many deaths per day and such a maxed ICU capacity in the Bay Area as well. But we are seeing a decline. And I think it's important to pay attention to because we're seeing a decline alongside a high vaccination status. So I think people in the Bay Area can feel optimistic about where we're headed. But we have to remember, if we were going to have an outbreak of a more transmissible subvariant, it's just going to find those high risk and unvaccinated individuals faster. So it's even more reason for people out there, anyone out there who hasn't gotten all their shots, to go out and do that.
Right, because I think only half the eligible people have been boosted so far, so we can do better. Well, Dr. Patel, I'd love to stick around and talk to you more, but I think we have a more important guest, a VIP coming up.
You do.
Next.
You do, and I will bow out for that because kudos and slow clap to her.
That's right. That's right. All right, Dr. Patel, thank you so very much. We'll see you next time.
Kristen, thank you.
All right, coming up, what we were alluding to, what is one of the hottest winning streaks in Jeopardy history? Oakland's own Amy Schneider has the answer, and the Jeopardy champ is joining us live right after the break. Don't go away. Oh my God. Okay, I want to hear in your comments who is excited for Amy Schneider. I can't believe she is coming on the show, that she is logging in right now. I could not be more psyched. Wow, just if you're a Jeopardy fan, you know, like a lot of people haven't been playing in the traditional way right now, just like, you know, nice and steady, just happens to know everything casually. Oh yeah, I know that, I know that. And doing it with such class and kind of, you know, like ease. Amy Schneider. So if you have any questions for Amy, go ahead and type them in for me right now and we'll try to get to them. No, that's okay. Thanks.
7, 6, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oakland resident and Jeopardy great Amy Schneider has finally ended her historic run. Her winning streak ended at 40 at the hands of Roan Talsma, a Chicago librarian.
What is Bangladesh? And that is correct. You will add $12,000, $29,600. You now have a narrow $2,000 lead over our champion, Amy Schneider. Did she come up with Bangladesh? You looked at this for a long time. No response.
Oh no! But you know what? Schneider has cemented her place in Jeopardy history. Second most consecutive wins behind Ken Jennings, fourth in cash winnings at $1.38 million, and the most successful woman to ever play the game. Here with us today is the legend, the instant legend herself, Amy Schneider. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Okay, I'm so happy you're here. Like, if you said no, I totally wouldn't have been offended because I know you must be so exhausted.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot going on right now, but you know, I'm a bit of a performer, and it's all kind of fun, really.
Good. I'm glad you're having fun, and it shows. I mean, every night you're having so much fun. Congratulations on your historic, amazing, incredible, inspirational, aspirational run. I don't think there are enough words for it. But tell us what the last 24 hours, what's that been like for you as, you know, the word got out?
It's been, you know, it's been a lot. You know, I've, you know, we had made plans to go to a friend's house and sort of watch the game and have like a celebration / morning party for the end of the run. You know, so that was really nice. But like, yeah, ever since yesterday, like it's just been, my phone's been blowing up nonstop, whether it's, you know, old friends or family members or just everyone wanting to reach out and just congratulate me. It's been a wild 24 hours, but it's been good.
Well, for sure, you had the entire Jeopardy fan base rooting for you. You had the entire Bay Area. You had Oakland as well. In fact, we have a little surprise for you from Mayor Libby Schaaf, who was on our midday live show just a few hours ago. Check out her message for you.
You let her know that my staff has already tried to reach out to her because we want to declare it Amy Schneider Day in the city of Oakland. Amy,
yes.
I know that I am one of your million fans. You made our city so proud. We want to celebrate you.
Did you hear that? Amy Schneider Day? Did you know about this?
I did not. No, I'm sorry that I missed that somehow. But yeah, I guess I'll try to find where that is and say yes. I eagerly accept.
I know, right? I don't know if there's going to be a parade or event, but we're there. Look, I know Oakland is super proud of you, but you have made it very clear that you are proud of Oakland too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a native. My girlfriend's an Oakland native and likes to hold that over me a little bit. But I've been here since 2009, and I've told people like my expectation is that this is where I'll live the rest of my life. I fell in love as soon as I moved here with the city, with Lake Merritt, with California in general, and I can't imagine wanting to live anywhere else.
Oh, yeah, and we wouldn't want you to live anywhere else. But I got to ask you, your last episode was actually taped early November. That's a long time to keep a secret. I mean, are you a little relieved now that, you can talk about it and do things?
Yes, absolutely. It was, the whole time having to sort of like keep an eye on myself and make sure I wasn't like, hinting at anything or anything like that, was a little burden. And I'm somebody that, tries to be a very open and transparent person. So like holding the secret inside was a little bit of a challenge. So yeah, I am glad that part of it is over.
Right? I mean, you couldn't tell anybody. And now looking back, and it was an amazing run, but what do you cherish most when you look at the whole experience?
I think definitely what's meant the most to me, like in terms of the whole thing since episodes started airing is all the messages and even in-person things from other trans people that have seen me on there, that have been excited, have been stoked, have been inspired maybe or whatever it is. There's still not that many of us on TV, and I know that I certainly, anytime I saw a trans person on Jeopardy, was definitely watching them closely and rooting for them hard. And so hearing from other people, even just today, I went out and I got my booster shot today, and there was a trans person at the vaccine clinic, and I took a selfie with them, and it was really nice to talk with them briefly.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count the the eyes you open, the hearts, the minds. I mean, it was truly impactful. I want to ask you too about an essay you wrote in which you talk about being intelligent and pursuing knowledge, attributing your development at least partly to privileges you've had in your life. What privileges? What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I think, one being, first of all, just being raised in a household that values education. I was actually just last night talking with the friend who, we were having that party with. And he was saying, my mom was a teacher too, but, she didn't it seems like she didn't encourage that in me the same way that yours did, and I think that's something that's so valuable in anybody's life. Your parents, your caregivers in those early years can really, make a difference for you. And then beyond that, I'm obviously I'm white, which makes things easier for me. And for, most of my life until about 6 years ago, I was presenting as male. And so, there was no one was ever surprised to see me in any situation. No one ever thought it was weird to see me there or, notable in any way. And so, that experience, it definitely made my life easier during those 30-some years. And I don't want to pretend that it didn't.
Yeah. Look, Amy, do you go back to your day job now as an engineering manager or, do other things await now that you're one of the most incredible Jeopardy players ever?
Well, I'm certainly going back to my job for now. I hope, I have to say, I'm kind of hoping my employers aren't watching all these interviews with all these people telling me I should leave my day job. But you know, I am definitely like, this is an opportunity. You know, I am going to be working on a book and trying to make that happen.
Awesome.
And there's other people, you know, there's all kinds of people reaching out to me right now and wanting to you know, with various offers and suggestions. And I'm just kind of working through all that and seeing where I want to go.
Yep, I know you've got the GLAAD Media Awards in April, right? Our viewer Randy here wants to know if you're going to be in the Tournament of Champions in the fall. You are, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so who are you most eager to go head-to-head against? Jennings, Holzhauer, Amadio, Brad Rutter, who?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, I think Matt Amadio, just because I already thought that I might have to, you know, when I started taping my episodes, his episodes were still airing. So I already did some kind of mental preparation for that. So he's definitely somebody I'm looking at for the Tournament of Champions. And actually another one is Andrew He, who's the man that I beat in my first game. Because, you know, he definitely, like, he had the edge on me. If he had gotten Final Jeopardy, you know, I would have lost and we wouldn't be here today. So I'm sure he's eager to take another shot at me, but I also, you know, he was a really like top competitor, and I enjoyed playing him once, and I would enjoy to do it again.
Well, we would enjoy to see you compete again. In the meantime, enjoy all that's coming your way, and Amy Schneider Day, we're there with our camera and everything. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Congrats again.
Thanks.
Amy Schneider. All right, we'll be right back. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for making the time. Congrats again.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. I'm just double checking. I don't have anything right after.
Oh. Amy.
Got something.
Can
at
you stay?
3:40.
Can you stay?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah,
yes.
I can stay. I got a little time here.
Okay, folks, guess what? We get bonus time with Amy. So ask away. You got questions? Yeah. Okay, so we've got a lot of great comments. Randy wanted to see you in the championship game. I think Tournament of Champions, yes. Let's see. We love Amy. Robert says Amy was my nightly TV highlight. Oh, so many nice comments. I wonder if you felt, you never seemed nervous. Were you ever nervous though?
Absolutely, I was. And I actually, like, you know, really tried to stay nervous. You know, as it went on, I was really trying to fight the tendency of my brain to just sort of get complacent and just like, oh, I guess I just keep winning, like it's just going to happen. And, you know, I wanted to stay on that edge. But I think that, like, the nerves were really like when the cameras were off. But like when the cameras are on and the game is playing, like it moves so fast, there's like kind of no time to be anxious about it. Like you just got to focus on the questions, and like, you know, it just goes by in an instant.
So, you know, you mentioned your girlfriend and those close to you. Like, were people nervous for you? I mean,
yeah, you know, I think that.
Oh, sorry. Hang on to that thought because we're coming back on TV in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. And we are back with Oakland's own Amy Schneider, who you've seen on TV for weeks and weeks as she dominated the game of Jeopardy, that historic, incredible run coming to an end last night. How many people have now said, repeat after me, Amy, Bangladesh? Are you sick and tired of hearing that? Bangladesh.
I mean, it's all right. I certainly am never going to forget the name of Bangladesh again. That's for sure.
Look, I'm teasing you about that, but I think we each have areas in which we think we're a little weaker in that area, or no, just a little less. Did you ever have those pockets where you felt like, you know, I'm gonna stay away from that category as long as possible?
Yeah, I definitely did. I mean, you know, the ironic and frustrating thing is that, you know, geography, like nations of the world, I thought that was definitely in my wheelhouse. So I felt good about that category. You know, but the things that I definitely, you know, was a bit more leery of would be things like popular music. You know, like I listened to the music that was popular when I went to high school, and that's about it. So, you know, beyond that, I can struggle.
Yes, you and me both. You know, I know
Yeah.
you've talked to my midday co-anchors, Reggie Aki and Kumasi and Jabina, and they all have so much musical knowledge. I always go, oh, I can't have
Yeah.
this conversation. Okay, so that makes me feel better. And kids, did you hear that? It's okay to have areas where you don't feel as secure. That's totally okay.
Yeah.
Look, so I want to ask you, like, would you consider, I know you have a 6-month waiting period before you can do another game show, right? But are you eager to do another game show?
You know, I certainly, you know, that was one of the most fun experiences of my life. So yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be thrilled to try another game show out. You know, I feel like I started at the top. You know, I've loved Jeopardy my whole life. I think it's the best one. But yeah, definitely be interested in doing more.
Okay, can I just tell you what I think would be great for you? The Chase. You've seen that show, of course, right?
I have seen it, yeah.
Yeah, like don't you think, I think you'd be a fantastic chaser and one that would make me feel welcome instead of like utterly intimidated.
Well, you know, thanks. I mean, I think, you know, they've historically worked with Jeopardy champions before. I kind of am half expecting to have them reach out, and, you know, I'll certainly take that call for sure.
Look, you know, now that you kind of are going back to the normal life, although it's not the old normal, I wonder, you know, how has it changed you, this whole experience?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think, you know, I'm sure some of the answer to that question I won't know yet for a little bit. But, you know, one thing I can definitely say is that, you know, really my whole life, but, you know, particularly after transitioning, you know, I definitely had a lot of anxiety about my appearance, my presentation, like how I come across on television, or how I would come across on television, not that I was on television before. And so this was absolutely getting thrown in the deep end with that. But it's been great. Everybody has been so positive, has been so you know, accepting of me and supportive of me, and responded so favorably to me that it's actually, I can now look at myself on TV and be like, oh, she's nice, she's pretty, she's charming, and kind of see what other people are seeing. And that's something that I struggled with for most of my life.
I am so happy for you, Amy Schneider, and we are all so proud of you. Thank you so much for being here. And again, like I said, Amy Schneider Day, we better have that front row seat with the best camera position. We're there, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We'll take a short break on the air. Be right back. Okay, Amy, I know you got places to go, people to see, and things to do, but do you have like 2 more minutes?
Yeah, 2 more minutes.
Excellent.
Yeah,
okay, so questions. Dustin, our viewer on Facebook Live, says, how did you learn all that stuff? I need to know this for a friend.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of just got to be interested in stuff. You've got to want to. And, you know, like, it's not like I've been, you know, sitting down and like doing these study sessions or things like that. I'm just, you know, kind of a curious person. And so, like, you know, in downtimes at work on a commute or whatever, sometimes I'll just be on Wikipedia, just like kind of clicking around, looking for things that I didn't know or that are interesting to me. You know, I think like for Jeopardy specifically, there's no better path than like going through old, you know, the archives of the clues that they've had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the real, you know, preparation just has to be like kind of just embedded in your life.
All right, someone wants to know if Ken is eliminated from playing against you, Randy's question, I guess in the Tournament of Champions, because of him being a host? No?
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. I think I'd seen that somewhere else before, but I'm not sure if that was just speculation. I don't know what his, you know, sort of, I'm not his lawyer. I don't know what he's contractually able to do.
Yeah, and how is Ken as a host? Like behind the scenes interactions, you know?
Yeah, he's great. You know, he's limited in the interactions he can have with the contestants, as sort of that, you know, neutrality thing. But you know, he would come out before each episode and chat with us a little bit, and I have nothing but good things to say about him. You know, I wasn't certain that I thought he would be a great host, but once I got there and saw it, he was fantastic.
Awesome. Hey, we're almost out of time. I just want to ask you, how many wins did you think you would notch? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't 40.
It was not. I told everybody, I think if things go well, I could win 3 or 4.
What? Yeah. Okay, you beat that 10 times over. Once again, congratulations. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and joy speaking with you.
Thank you.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much for joining us on this interactive show, Getting Answers today. We talked with Dr. Alok Patel and the great Amy Schneider. Sorry, we did not have the San Francisco Standard on today, but we'll bring that story to you about the challenges of the pandemic living in a Chinatown SRO. So we'll have that later. In the meantime, you can watch us at 3 o'clock every day on air and on live stream. We'll be answering your questions. World News Tonight is coming up next. Bye-bye.